So much better. How are you?
Yay.
Yay!
Yeah, good. How are you?
Hanging in. Hanging in. It's good to
You
see
look
you.
cold.
Oh my God, you have no idea. This is like crazy. We have this like records coming down. We've got crazy cold, very, very cold. So yeah, I'm ready for some warmth. Are you getting to the tail end of your weather pattern of warmth?
No, we're getting right into the peak. So I think we're about to head into a successive heat wave, probably somewhere between 100 and 115 degrees. Your Fahrenheit? Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah. So
hot. Is that humid too?
yeah. So no, it is today. But generally we get a dry heat. But then like towards
Yeah.
sort of February, March, we might get a little bit of humidity, but we're further south. So we don't get like the hot temperatures, which would be more like what you'd expect in like Texas and Florida. We don't get that kind of humidity. But yeah, we're getting record temperatures. Like we're going to be in sort of the low mid 40s next week, maybe even mid 40s, which is pretty hot for us.
Yeah, even without humidity, 110, 115 is hot. Like that's just
And we
uncomfortable.
have
So what are you gonna do?
we
You're
have
in
no
your
ozone layer.
garage. Huh? Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we have no ozone layer as well. So like I have to get my cardio done very early in the morning or in the evening because you're going to get burnt to an absolute crisp otherwise. So yeah,
Really? Oh man.
yeah,
What do you do? So you gotta do something for class. Like you're sweating. Like I can see you.
yeah,
It's not that you can't do the exercise. I know it's happening. You're just so gassed. I feel like the heat is taking your breath away.
yeah. It is, but then it's also because of the time in the morning. So by then, on very little food because I'm dieting, right? Like I mean, I'm having a lot of food, but I would have done my fasted cardio, would have done a little bit of work. If I can get breakfast in, great. But if not, I might be then going right up until 9:30, 10 a.m. before I'm getting my first meal, which is too long. So
Yeah, that's too long.
even so, yeah. So I'm just trying to change my schedule so that I can at least get some food in, sort of at least 40 minutes before class. It just means that I have to get up super early to get everything else done. So
Honestly, Amy,
yeah,
even like 20 minutes before, just something. Even if you
yeah,
have half of your meal before posing,
yeah.
half after, like just something, because I can see you like you're struggling.
Yeah, yeah, and I think as well
Hmm.
because by the time you've done like 40 minutes of cardio in the morning as well, like you've depleted all your glycogen anyway, right? So you're already gassed. So it's just that little bit of recovery as well. But
How
unfortunately,
many?
when got too many things to try and squeeze into a day, so that's just life.
Well, how many weeks are we now from your show? This first one.
10 tomorrow,
Hmm.
10 tomorrow from the first one, and then that'll be then 13 until the nationals, which is the
So
pro qualifier.
you have 10 weeks and you're this gassed.
Well, only in the mornings. I'm actually I mean, I only started dieting 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And no, hang on, 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks of dieting and I already lost 3.8 kilos.
Right on.
So yeah, new coach, different approach. He's actually more about feeding me. So I've got a lot of food.
Good.
I feel like
Good,
I'm a
good,
little
good.
bit, feel like I'm a little bit behind because like I'm still holding on to a bit of body fat around the butts and the hip, but then at the same time, I'm still keeping nice and full in the muscles and the size is there. It's just a little bit of lats, which will just come with time. So
You got 10
yeah, it's
weeks. You're
more if I
gonna,
can get.
you look, yeah, you look good. You got 10 weeks. You're gonna be just fine. I'm glad to hear you're getting fed, so your starting threshold is higher. So you're not so,
Yeah,
you know, mm,
yeah. Last year, like I mean, I was working with a coach that I had for 5 years. He's very, very old school, but he started me dieting really early for Arizona. But on 4 days a week. I was on an avocado a day.
how
And
many
I was
weeks?
like, this doesn't, that was like at 16 weeks out, 16 weeks. And then that was right up into like, I mean, going into the nationals, oh no, sorry, into the comp back from Arizona here, he had me on 2 tablespoons of olive oil leading into the comp.
Like a
And I
week?
was just like, yeah, I was like, this is ridiculous. This doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
I'm surprised I held on to as much muscle mass as I did.
Yeah, seriously. Wow. Well, how did you find your new coach?
Really good. Just it's so much better, right? Like I'm not having these random things like, like on Christmas Day last year with my other coach, he's like, "Oh, you're looking a little underdone." we need to fill you out fast. Go and get 3 steaks. And I'm like, it's Christmas Day. Where the fuck am I going to get, excuse my language, where am I going to get 3 steaks from?
No, where the fuck are you going to get 3 steaks from? It's Christmas Day. Is he nuts? And
Yeah.
by the way,
So, and then,
did you really need 3 steaks? Like, it couldn't wait till the next day? Like, you're not peaking.
well, and, but also, but if I was that dangerous at being that catabolic, why the fuck was I on 1 avocado a day? Just feed me normal food.
Unbelievable. So, there's so much nonsense.
It's funny, right? Like,
so much nonsense.
And there's so much nonsense, right? Like, but the thing is I'd worked with this coach for, 5 years, and he'd been pretty good. It's like he lost the plot, and he was just trying to throw spaghetti at the wall and see if something would work, right? Like, I think he just went a bit mental, and I was like, okay, because I I've got my nutrition certs. I coach, like, my strongman client, for example, I got him from a recovering alcoholic, type 2 diabetes, to lean. So he went from never competing in strongman competition, within his first year has qualified for the nationals. That's how good he is. And I got him to lose 70 kilos while getting stronger. So I know what to do with nutrition. So,
yeah,
but
so you know,
the thing is as well, I knew something was up, but at the same time, I'm like, this guy's still got 30 years experience. We've also got a good working relationship. And sometimes, I know the science, I know stuff that works, but, maybe there's something I don't know. And also,
you can't have an honest conversation with your own body when you're prepping for a show. I don't care, any sort of professional athlete always has, any other sport. It's never a question of having a coach. You need that outside, like but the thing is, you're well educated, so you're going to know when something's off. So that serves you to know that, like, you have a really great structure. You should have had more size on stage last year. I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a great structure, and you were over dieted. So I'm excited to see what happens for you over the next 10, 12 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good. Like, the new coach is really good. He's really structured. I get my feedback straight away. He listens as well, because he had nut butter on my plan. And I said, look, I'm just not capable of responsible service of nut butter. Can I have something else?
So true. So true. This is a tablespoon. It's still in the tablespoon. It's just
yeah, but there's a whole jar that's attached to the tablespoon. Yeah.
It all counts.
I'm like,
attached to the tablespoon.
I'm like, no.
I totally understand.
I'm like, it's not going to happen. So especially when you're tired and you're trying to get things out, because it's not like you can pre-portion it either, right? So it's like, no, just get rid of it. There's too much room for error.
So true. Now, in your posing, though, I have seen significant improvement with the side pose expansion. It's working. And I'm seeing that, I'd say in the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've seen a real stride for you. I feel like all the work that you're doing with Serratus, using the breath and the expansion, you're making the connection this year. Last year, we had to undo a muscle memory that your body was used to for 10 years. So your posture went from this to this. Amazing. This year, I want to expand you wider. And that last 2 weeks, I'm already seeing that type of improvement. I also want to, and leading into, you mentioned you want to work on your routine. I'm here for that. When you're doing your model pose with figure style, you tend to not rotate and get the lats direct. I want to crisp that up too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes
Anything
sense.
else that you want to work on today? I know you mentioned your routine. Anything else that you want to make sure that we target?
No, I think that's it, because I haven't, to be honest, I would love to do more of the posing drills. I'm just trying to get what I can done when I can. There's some things that I can't do, like the 90-90 raises. I've done a modified version. So I get 2 yoga blocks and I hold on to them, and then I just lift up where I can. So it's not far.
What happens?
And the one that I just don't, the core strength is just, I can't connect the core strength, and I've just got too much limb, I think. I can get into the 90-90 and that feels reasonably comfortable, and that's been better. So the hips are feeling a lot better this year. My hip flexors aren't as tired because I'm getting more recovery. So my body isn't as stiff as well, which I think is why I'm getting more rotations. I'm doing a lot of the tummy tucks at any opportunity that I get, which is fine. but it's the balancing quarter turns I can't do because I've got a concrete floor and it's actually ruining my shoes. So I don't really have an option to kind of do those balancing ones. But I'm okay with that because I feel like my balance on one leg is pretty good. Like I can still lift one butt cheek when I need to and all that sort of stuff. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, if I could find more space in my calendar, which is already packed to the max, then I would do
Yeah.
more posing drills. But yeah,
Well,
just
that's
trying
the
to get
thing.
in where I
We
can.
focus on the most important ones. And for you, it's anything lat related and core related, because especially with your
Mm,
core, that was something from last season too. That core strength, we were kind of chasing that into the show. And this year, I really believe we've got a head start. And
mm,
that, if you're doing that all the time, like this position, we push out, we inhale, make it bigger, and we pull it in. I want this 24/7, as much as you
mm.
can, to be conscious of and aware. If you're standing there with a client, just draw it in and see if you can find that as much as you can. That will be that will be incredibly helpful for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've just got to balance in as well because I've got to do 3 days back into the office next month as well, which is just going to add a logistical nightmare to my work. You know, when you're already doing 60 plus hours for that job and then they
What do
want you
you
to
do
then
for, what's
spend more.
that job? What's that job?
Oh, so my corporate career is I'm a commercial lead. So I'm looking after $50 million projects at the moment in capital space. So it's high
What,
stress, lots going on with a
when you
mining
say
company. So I've been
commercials,
doing that.
like mining companies, so what are you, like building?
No, so commercial as in like I'm procurement. So I look after like I'm doing contract negotiations, contract management,
Okay.
supplier relationships, that sort of stuff. So
A
yeah, so
lot
it's
of
pretty hectic.
multitasking. Yeah. And responsibility.
And and responsibility, yeah. So I mean that's life. But I'm looking at potentially a career break well, it'll come a bit too late for this prep, but I think it's just time now. I can't be spending 80% of my time in a career that's no longer serving me. Like I spend most of my recovery and body work recovering from work. Like my injury from my neck was actually tech neck from just doing too much computer work and the
Wow.
mouse. And that was causing me so much issues with like my subscap and my traps and everything like that, which is causing issues in terms of turning and being able to lift and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, why am I spending all this money just to be able to recover so that I can sit there and do a job that I don't want to do? So the salary is
Especially
good,
if you
but I
don't
think
want to
it's
do
time to
it.
move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
good at it, but I'm like, I
Got to
think
be
it's time
happy,
now.
Amy. You got to be happy. There's got
Yeah.
to be, you got to
Yeah.
find the joy in it, in something else.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And bodybuilding is it's a 20, you know, this requires a tremendous amount of energy too. Like, how do you have any, like, do you ever go out and do anything besides
Not
bodybuilding?
really.
You hang out? Yeah, I know.
No,
Exactly.
because then my other free time, right? I'm mentoring and training other athletes. So I'm like, yeah, I have not worked this part out properly. So,
How
because
many
I was
athletes do you
talking to,
have?
I have a few. Yeah, I have a few. And they're
Nice.
from different disciplines, right? So, yeah. And then I've got some, yeah. But I mean, I love giving back as well. So, if you can't bring
It's a
others with
passion.
you, along with you, then what else is there really?
Yeah, you
So,
got a passion
but
for it.
I train with a pro every Sunday, so she helps take me through I do my quad session, and then I get her to take me through my glutes and hamstrings because
Right
obviously
on.
glutes and hamstrings need to have that conditioning. But she's sitting there going, you've managed to do this in 10 years and you have like the busiest schedule and the most amount of stress that I've seen anyone. Like I have never seen you not power walk anywhere. She said, imagine what you'd be like with a bit of rest and recovery. And I was like, yeah, having the rest and recovery is one thing. Knowing what to do with it is another. Because you got to remember that it doesn't matter if I have a job or not. I still have to train my body into actually doing the rest and recovery piece without filling that space with something else.
Well, I hope that your coaching maybe goes a little bit further, and maybe you can make the corporate job, whatever, something about the corporate job you can have as a side. I don't ever recommend doing just like, if you're self-employed, one self-employed job. I would always have
I agree.
multiple,
Yeah.
like there's,
Yeah.
I've been doing real estate for 18 years. I'm a real estate broker.
Yeah.
So I have
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that plus posing, because you just never know. One could be over here
Yeah.
doing well, one could be slower. And if that happens, then you need that security. So with the corporate
Yeah.
job, it's like hopefully there's something else that you could do that can like pull in a little
Well,
extra.
I mean, I'll be hitting 14 years with the same company in March. And I've got enough connections there that I've pretty much said, look, if I take a career break and I want to come back in 12 months, and they're like, we'll find you something, don't worry. So
that'd be fabulous.
yeah, so I might just take the 12 months and just, I mean, I'm lucky as well because I'll be getting a bit of a golden handshake because like last year, the team I was leading, we completed our FY24 goals 3 months early. Just, that's
Wonderful.
how I roll.
Yeah.
But our whole team was rewarded. But our whole team was rewarded with a redundancy. And I was like, all right. I mean, it's mining, so that happens all the time. But I was like, way to show how a high performing team should be rewarded.
Rewarded. Yeah, seriously. Like
I was already on my next career move, but I was like, you know what? Like a redundancy after, 13 years isn't a bad, that's like a good 9 months worth of pay. So I was supposed to move into my next career opportunity and I just went, you know what, let's make that a temporary assignment so that I still have the option of redundancy at the end of that if I want to. And then I've just been building up my network. So if I want to come back, I can. So I put it on pause. Yeah, I think it's just at that point where it's just not worth it anymore. So, but I'll come back re-energized and refreshed and think about how I can do things better. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if not,
interesting.
There's still a lot of other skills and capabilities that you build over that type of career that, could be utilized towards something else as well. So, yeah.
You'd be a machine as a self-employed person.
Yeah. So, and I think that's the thing as well. I'd be a multidiscipline like you are, entrepreneur as well. Wouldn't be one thing because my brain wouldn't allow
it. It's funny because like in real estate, when you go to sell a property, I walk into the house and I see what I need to do to design the house so that it sells better, meaning I stage it. So I joke with my real estate athletes. I say I stage people's bodies for competition and I stage houses. Like it's kind of, there is that crossover, even though it sounds like two separate businesses.
No, there is that. There is that because at the end of the day, right? Like what is posing? Posing is selling your physique. What is a house? And the thing is as well, when you're selling a physique, you're selling the inspiration to others, right? And when you're selling a house, you're not selling a house. You're selling the vision of someone else walking in, imagining themselves living in that house. You're selling a lifestyle.
Perfect salesperson. That was brilliant. You're brilliant. I love how you articulated that.
That's a certain skill. I can take engineering. I can take engineering speak and translate it into layman's terms as well. And people are like, oh, I was like, yeah, look, it's not that complicated. I know you might have a fancy science degree, but actually not that complicated.
You can basically dull it down to layman's terms. That's good. That's really good. That's really good. That's awesome, Amy. Well, let's see we want to, and let's keep in touch about this type of stuff too, with the posing part. I mean, you really have a joy and a love for it.
Well, I would love at some point, I've got to figure it out that, I would love to do it like when my client base gets enough and it's worthwhile your time for you to run an NPC workshop for them and a posing workshop for them. I think that would be so much fun. And then they would get so much out of it.
There's a woman in Australia for the OCB Federation. I did that for. I made a special.
Yeah, amazing.
I made a special clinic. So it was for my time. It was Friday night. So it turned out to be Saturday morning, 9 a.m. And of course, it made sense. It wasn't like 7 a.m. It was like started at 9, 10:30, and then 12. So those were the 3 clinics. So that is something I could do for you.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, I'll muster up because my view is that you'd need at least 10 to 20 people to make it worthwhile for yourself. So, when I can muster up that numbers confirmed, then absolutely, I'll hit you up for that.
Right on. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here for that. So let me and we're going to probably run a little bit over tonight because we've been chatting and I want to make sure that
Sorry.
we meet. No, I'm happy to chat with you. I just want you to know that I respect your time and that you're here to get the education too. So I want to make sure that we're going to go a little bit over if you're okay with that, because I want to make sure that you get
Yeah, absolutely.
what you came here for too.
You never have to apologize. Like you're like, just like you blow my mind with other things that you always throw in, and I'm just like, I love it. I love it because it's good as well. It's like you're 10,000 miles away, but the perspective I get is like, amazing.
Oh, that's good to hear. Sometimes I worry, like, when we have new people in, and sometimes I have to break it down a little bit. It's like, especially when you're veterans, my thoughts are hearing it again sometimes. Just, you might hear it a little different. Like when you watch a movie 3 times, you're going to see something different on the third than you did on the first, even though you're seasoned. So, I like
But it
that
doesn't
you're
matter.
open-minded about that too. When new people
But
come in.
it comes down to, like, it always comes down to mastery of the basics. And sometimes you forget that when you're so far in the journey, but it's always coming back to the fundamentals, right? And it'll always be those things that slip up. So the reminder back to those fundamentals. And every time you give someone else a cue, I'm like, I don't care if it's a new person or whoever. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? You can't help but you'll start going, oh, yep, that's a good point. Am I doing this? So you use the cues anyway, regardless if it's directed at you or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you do. And I see you doing it too. So did you have a stage routine that you were thinking of doing in 10 weeks?
I have started one.
Okay.
And because I've put in the power bikini pose because I love it. I can't quite do Lola's routine, so I've kind of given up, and
I think you could. Oh, I'm not buying that. We just got to break it down in little pieces, but you could do Lola's.
I want the sass. I want the sass.
Yeah. You have it though. You're good on stage. You've got the good sass, but like that superhero pose, right?
Oh,
That
I love it.
superhero pose is amazing. Yeah, that looks really good. I know you could do it, but we don't have to if you don't want to. Like if you're like, it's good, but from a power pose for sure.
Yeah. I think, I've got to put my signature pose in, but then we could probably leverage, like, either getting into or out of it, the superhero pose. So I think that would work well. So there's a few things I need to tweak as well, because I'm not really happy with where I've kind of put in the model pose. I don't think it quite works. So it's probably that. Do you want me to just kind of show
me what you've written? Yeah. Let me pin you. Get you a little bigger.
And then the only other thing I was thinking as well is that last year we went straight to the front, and that was different to what everyone else was doing. And I'm okay doing that again, but I've noticed that, like, no one's really doing that. I would rather have more poses at the front than any at the back, but I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't know if I need to give people a chance to warm up to me or...
Amy, you have a really good back. Your back pose with your rear delts and the depth of your back looks really good. It looks really good. Now, do you have to show more face or more back? No, it's more about
sorry. On you. What? No, what I meant is, no. I'm definitely doing back poses. What I meant is people are doing an eye walk and I come straight up, and I don't do an eye walk. I do a diagonal, go straight to the front box, because I would rather have poses.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, okay. So just keep doing that, and it doesn't matter if everyone's going to the back curtain and then coming forward. I'm just going to go.
Yeah, they're not supposed to. And that might have been just that one show, because what's happening is people are watching the pros, and the pros are given the time, and you'll hear the head judge, Sandy Williamson, you'll hear all of them say that they've earned that time, right? So for us, they specifically say, and you were going to end up at a show, and you might have got lucky at that Arizona show, but you go to like Northeast, you get on stage with the Northeast judges, they're gonna nip that quick.
Yeah. Well, that's good, because I mean, at Arizona, I went straight to that front line, and even in Australia, I went straight to the front line. And I don't care that it's a bit different, because like automatically it's like changing other people's, like you're automatically going to look if somebody's doing something slightly different, as long as, but also I just think I'm going to be more impressive closer than I am further away. So
yeah, because what really are you doing except one pose and a walk up. Why not just get out there, walk up with that strut and power pose and show them what, exactly right up front and center, give them everything you got. Because what I've seen them do, and this happens often, is they're only going to give you like 10 to 15 seconds. And if you're not done, they're calling the next person. And you don't want to be that one on stage that took an hour to finish the pose and is being rushed off the stage. That won't reflect well. That doesn't look pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I agree.
So we don't look at anybody else. You're going to hear a lot of advice backstage, but we do what we do, and everybody else looks to
All right.
us. Right?
Yes, exactly. All right. So
Nice. Yep. And finish with a figure. Yep. Love it. You may not have time for this last piece, but that if they don't call somebody new, love it. So I really, really like that. Be mindful when you're bringing your hands in for any of the power poses. You don't want to bring them up so high into the ribs. Keep them down so that you're below the smallest part of your waist.
Okay. So more on the hip bone.
Yeah, it's going to be on your suit, basically, because your suit comes right up. Yeah, that's where you want that. Now, in the first pose, that power pose, kick one leg out a little wider. Yeah, that's better. Now, when you can kind of
bring them in.
Yes. Can you sit and flare a little bit more there? And yeah, so try not to squat though. So just a little more flare out. Yeah, that's what I like. That's very stately. And this month's routine, it's actually the last couple of months, where so you're here in power pose. Like you could even do a little swivel before you hit this. I like that on you. So kick your feet out and that, yeah, because the swivel will help close the gap of your feet. It's kind of a little hack to bring no, like swivel your hips to the left and then to the right. So it's like you're kind of rocking your hips and then yeah, good. Yeah, but keep turning to the side, or sorry, turn into front pose.
Oh, so don't do the front pose, you reckon?
Maybe. Let me see that again. Front pose.
So I went from, so what I did was, because I figured I'd have to do a front pose, unless I do the front pose first.
Yep.
And then I move to a power pose.
I like that better.
Swivel.
I like that better.
I think because then you're doing the compulsory pose first, but then you're going into the power pose and then a beautiful power bikini. Now, with this one, I'm just kind of like,
we want to work on that.
I don't know if, I was more like, because it's hard from here. Yeah, I don't know how to, because the profile pose doesn't really work unless, well, it could, couldn't it? Because I could just, and then step.
Right, I would, yep. So that's actually close. What I was going to suggest was, like, if you're here, Amy, so you were here with this foot position and you're struggling with how to get to the back, what you can kind of do is you can kind of do a little push off like this.
Oh, that's cute.
And then turn.
Yeah, because that softens the sass as well. I like it.
Yeah,
all right.
Test that out.
So hang on. It's hard to do this one by itself.
It is. The bikini girl poses are like, yeah.
But like that or like that?
No, turn. Get the, yep. Because you want it to be like it's not quite a pose. It's basically.
It's just a transition. Yeah.
Okay,
hang on.
We're using it as a way to get to the back and make it look sass. There's no pose in it. Good. Oh yeah, that looks good. Bingo. That looks really good. Now, when you're doing this, pause. That one. In that back pose, can you pause with your leg extended? Soften the bend of that left knee. So when you soften it, your left foot's gonna come in a little bit less, so don't squat. Yes, that looks, you know, pause for a second. I'm gonna show you a visual. Let me just get it on screenshot, so don't move. I'm gonna show you what you just did. And then go ahead and extend your leg out the way it was. Okay, go ahead and relax. I just want to show you something visually. So your original was like a leg hyperextended, and we just want to soften the bend of the knee, and I'm going to show you what it does. Pretty cool. And this is actually like for bodybuilding categories, like this is kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
So,
I was being cheeky, adding in a bit of a bodybuilding pose.
yes, and I see where you're going with that. So this is your original where your leg is very straight, but you got a beautiful bend
Yeah.
here. You see how that soft bend gives you that beautiful curve? So all I did
Yeah.
was kind of do that with the left leg, but I want you to see the sweep of the quad, how it popped out, and the separation with your hamstring and your quad, how that came forward. Do you see this?
Yeah, yeah.
Versus here, more sweep, more detail. So just that little bit when you're kicking your leg out, don't hyper the leg out, slide it out, but keep a soft bend in the knee. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. Okay, my back looks ridiculous. I didn't know it looked like that.
I know. You're like, oh, I think all my front facing poses. I'm like, Amy, have you seen your back? Like, what the hell?
No.
It's amazing.
No, the back poses are staying in, but no, I meant the back curtain. I wasn't clear. Sorry.
It's funny because I know what you mean now, but when I originally thought interpreting it, I'm like, have you seen your back? Anyways, okay, so let's see if we can put all that together. Let's see. So where are we? We are coming out. We're going to do the front mandatory.
Yep. Oh.
Good. And then kick out. Good. And then pivot, turn.
Is that too far?
Swivel. No.
Oh.
Pivot, turn. Yeah. Swing in. Good. Good. And then from here, do that like walk back, step in, and then good. Slide around. Awesome. Really nice. And then from here, slide the leg out. I would even pivot, maybe even slide the hips a little bit. Bring your weight a little more into your right glute in that pose. Because we want to make it still figure. So move your hips, a little bit, swivel to the side a little bit. Yeah, and I would make this faster. So I wouldn't linger in it because, you only got a little bit of time.
Yeah, and if I hit the back pose and then I kind of do that one before I transition out, it's still going to look good. Okay, so take my time with this one.
Right.
Then just do a quick.
Yeah. Exactly. Love it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so next, let's go to that bikini power pose. That pose,
I need to fix this.
We want to have your hips more to the side. That's mobility. So like when we're doing the drills where hips are facing the side and rotating the upper body, you pick up your right leg off the floor for me. Nope, stay where you were. Nope, go back to where you were. I wanted to show you something. De-rotate your hips, so make them direct to the side. De-rotate them. Yep, keep them there. Now spin your upper body without moving your hips. Fun times, huh? Better. Where do you feel your weight right now?
Oh, sorry, just my toe. Yeah, my toes are cramping a little.
Oh. Well, take a moment. Grab some water, whatever. Do you have salt? Do you have the electrolytes? What are you doing all that?
Yeah, actually, I've got Hydrolyte. I'll just take a bit of that. Just it's quite humid today, and the minute it gets humid, I get crampy, which is weird. Well, maybe not.
Well,
It's probably.
you're sweating, so your electrolytes are pouring out of you. Yeah. Lower your left hand down so it's not on your ribs. Yeah, there it is. Now, you feel how you're able to open your left lat a little easier?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
you
more
see more
sense.
of it too.
Yeah.
Yep, so derotate those hips. Yeah. Yep. So your goal is to nail the hips facing the side and the upper body rotating, or else the pose, it doesn't look as, it's not as effective.
Yeah, I agree. And then my abs don't look as good as well.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Lower the left hand down a little bit.
Oh.
Same thing. Good. Good. And then from here, you do that like step back. Yep. And make it fast and pivot. Good. And then same here, slide the foot out. And it's like, once you get there, you basically keep going. Good.
Yeah.
Yep. Pause for that picture photo. Basically, you're pausing for the picture. And then flaring, lower the hands down. Same thing on your front lat spread too. You want to bring the hands down a little lower. You'll get better grip on your lats. The lower your hands are. Feel it, like slide your hands up into your ribs and you'll feel how you can't quite flare the lats anymore.
Yeah, you can't flare it. But this one I can feel like my lats coming out. Yeah.
Yep. And lower the left side because actually you can actually lower the hands a little bit more. And now fly up with the lats.
Oh, I learned a fun trick from all the drills you've been doing.
Oh yeah? What's that?
I wanted to do it in class because it's hilarious. So it's like my lats are out. Or are they? Or are they?
Yes. I want you to demonstrate that next Wednesday. Okay. I'm going to call you out on that on Wednesday and say, Amy has something to tell you. I love it. It's so true. It's so true. So you want to practice that a couple more times?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I was like, if I ever did bodybuilding, like I'm too tall for it, but one day, when I grow up, maybe, if I ever did bodybuilding, I would do that just to be cheeky. Like you'd be in the pose and then you'd see everyone else and you'd be like, just creep up, be cheeky.
You got the structure. Like you have a really, really great structure. You can do any category.
Well, I want to nail figure first. How exciting as well is how awesome that Missy Truscott's moving into figure?
It's about time because she's, that's where like Jenny Lynn, do you remember Jenny Lynn? Maybe you do, maybe you don't.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Figure was designed because of Jenny Lynn, believe it or not. So Jenny Lynn, they loved her, but she was getting injured. They literally designed figure because the fitness competitor they were getting injured, but they didn't want to not have any sort of competition. So that's how figure came about. Figure fitness girls so it's Missy, it's her time is like, I was cringing watching her do her routine because of her knee.
Yeah.
Like it's not,
but she did an amazing job.
I know she's awesome, but it's not fun to watch because I'm worried about her the whole time. You know what I mean? With that knee, like once that does that, oh man, I was worried about her. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens. And it also looks like, what the heck's her name?
Shanique Grant going into wellness is amazing as well.
She's going to be awesome. Boy, is she something.
I know.
There's also, she's an old timer. I'm trying to think of, it's not, there's another, not old timer, but a veteran. She's coming back to do figure. Another one who's coming back. I can't, her name is, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Actually, let me just go here because you may or may not know. Let's see. I'm going to pull it up. Candace Carter.
Oh my God. She was my favorite. Like, yeah, she's amazing because she's had 2 kids now. And she always got third. And because Latoya and Sydney were coming into their prime there. And I was like, but I loved her
She's so
routine.
good. Yeah.
I was just like, and I loved her structure. Oh, yeah, no,
But
that's very exciting.
Amy, you have their structure. You know that, right?
Well, yeah, I don't quite have the high glutes, but that, yeah,
But you have that structure. Like you've got it. Let's get you ripped, and which is what you're doing, get you fed and full. But you've got that structure. You should be like
yeah.
you are
I've
what
got to
they
send you
want.
off. I've got to send, except I'm about 2 foot taller as well. So you imagine what that's going to look like on stage.
Outstanding. Yeah, it's going to look outstanding. You're going to be an absolute standout.
Yeah. Well, I did a little
Superhero.
photo as part of my that's what my 6-year-old neighbor calls me every time she sees me. It's so cute.
Superhero.
Anyway, she's going to be a future little bodybuilder. She doesn't know it yet.
Right on.
So yeah, I for my, I was playing around with my vision board, and this time I did a manual one. I've made Sid, Gillen and Lola my height, and I've put myself in the middle to compare like muscularity, conditioning and all that sort of stuff. I'll send you the photo because it's kind of hilarious, but
Yeah,
yeah,
send it to me. Let me see it.
interesting. Yeah, interesting enough, and this was me underfed last comp. Yeah, I don't have the conditioning in that yet, but it's only really the only part that I'm missing is just that little bit of lat, which will grow over time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but otherwise, my quads were bigger than theirs. Like if you were to break it down, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah,
You were
it's
just over
interesting.
dieted, and there's absolutely no reason why you can't come in full. No reason. You've got the structure, and yeah, when you see them in real life, they're not very big.
No, no. So yeah.
You just
So fun
yeah,
times. We'll see.
you kept coming in flat to your
Mm,
show. Very
yeah.
flat.
And the thing is as well, I've got thick skin as well, right? If you don't fill my muscles up, I look less conditioned. You've actually got to have my
Yep.
muscles nice and full to push up against the skin because there's only so much body fat you can lose. But when you've got thick skin, you're always going to look more watery and not as lean as you actually are.
Soft. Exactly.
Mm.
So I can't wait to see what happens in the next 10 weeks for you. This is going to be great.
And if not, plenty more learnings, and we go back to the drawing board.
Well, if that guy doesn't work for you, there's a couple of really good coaches I know
Yeah.
that
Well,
are
and the thing is yeah.
like you're an engineer mind. They're not glorified personal trainers. These people are like Dr. Mike T. Nelson. He actually, the government enlists Dr. Mike T. Nelson. Like, this guy is smart, but he's super funny and humble. Like, you would love him. He's very cheeky, just like
Yeah.
you, but his brain is like an encyclopedia. But he understands
I'd
nutrition.
love that.
He'd be a good fit. There's also, there's a couple other people that are like that. Like, you need somebody smarter than you. Like, if I was to compete again, I want somebody who has that super elevated level of knowledge, like a doctorate in something, a nutrition PhD, like legit training, not glorified personal trainer who's going on gut instincts and past protocols. That's what you need.
Yeah, I agree.
So
yeah.
fingers crossed
And
that
so,
this guy is good. Okay.
I think he's got a good track record. But
Yeah.
Eventually the whole point is to come over to, the US and find someone and then, then build that relationship and then move back and then go from there as well. Because I want to compete more in the US, but we've got to build the basics first.
That's right. And you're long on your way, well on your way. All right. So let's see if we can tie it all together. So coming on out, front pose it up. Good. Legs are engaged. Kick out. Flare. Good.
Ooh. Oh, I know why. Because I did the wrong pose.
Let's try it
I was
again.
like, why is this not working?
Let's try it again.
That was the old database.
Good. Good. swivel. Left,
I went the
Good.
wrong way.
go left, yep, go left to allow yourself, yep, to get a little momentum, and that'll bring your hips, good, 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 good. Keep them there. Turn the upper body without, bring your left hand lower, good. Good, derotate the hips, you're leaning into your left hip bone. Remember, it's a pelvic tilt,
I am.
the whole lower back lifts, yeah. Fun times, yeah. I think whoever invented bikini posing was just mean.
I
Derotate
agree.
the
It's
hips.
hardest out of all of them.
It is. I 100% agree. Because you're balancing on one leg, balancing. Go ahead, keep on going. So from here, we do that slight walk back. Yep, it's like a walk back. Good. And then, yeah, beautiful. And that helps you shift the weight. Back pose looks killer. Are you flexing your hamstrings in your back pose?
Oh, no, I hadn't. Is that better?
Yep. Yeah, let's get those engaged right out the gate so we don't lose that on stage. Yep, and then pivot. You know what you did before, Amy? When you turned to that side after the back pose, you did a bikini model, you did a figure model pose. You did this, and that one you just did, you didn't. This one looks good on you. Don't take it out, don't take it out. So you went from here, and then you turned and you hit this originally, and when you're coming back, you're kind of swiveling and going back to a bikini foot position. So
yeah.
let's make sure we hit the figure model pose when you're coming back, because that's a good look on you. Yep, pivot right on up. Exact. That looks way better. I would hold there, Amy. That last pose.
The model one?
I would, because I don't think you're going to have enough time to go back to a power pose. I really don't.
Okay.
You know, we're doing it in the front, that power pose, but that right there is a very, very flattering pose on you. It's a good end.
Okay. All right.
And we have to be mindful of the time. So in fact, why don't I time that from when you come out and hit that first pose? Let me time how long that takes. And let's see, let me get the timer. Okay, when you're ready. Pause. That's 10 seconds. Right? Yep. So we got to move a little quicker.
Yep.
Or pull something out.
I think it's just I'm still trying to perfect it, so I'll leave quicker.
Yeah, because that's only 3 seconds. So that works. When you go from the back to the side. Yeah. So that'd be push. Yeah. Once you refine the hips, like you lock, turn, hit, and push back, and then step around, that I think we could trim off a few seconds. Let's keep it to no more than 15.
Because I'm still trying to work out that bikini pose. So the minute I perfect that, it'll be smoother, I think, quicker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Let me pause this 1 second, Amy. Let me reset the timer. Okay, when you're ready. Much better. Oop, don't forget the pushback. Yep, the walk back.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's about 18 seconds, but that 3 seconds will get trimmed when it's a little crisper. Yeah, the footwork.
Yeah.
But I like that.
Okay.
I like that a lot. You want to do one more round?
Yeah, because it's let's.
All right, let me get the timer. All right, when you're ready. Start over from beginning. Yep, start over.
It's always that new element that gets left in, and then you're like, oh, that's right, got to remember it.
It's okay. Here we go. Your posture has improved so much. There we go. Much better. That pivot looks good. Walk back and keep swinging around. Good. Step out and in. And pivot right on up. That's 18, 19 seconds. But I think you can get away with it.
I think so. There's not going to be that many competitors in Australia, so.
No, I'm surprised.
Oh no, it does. It does. Well, season A used to be really big when we had the Arnolds. Now season C is the biggest one. So, I mean, with figure, you're still only in Perth, where I'm from as well. It's the smallest competition. So, at best, we might have 5, 7 figure girls. But when I get to the nationals, that could be up to 30.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
what they do
figures.
anyway. Yeah. What they tend to do anyway is well, and the thing is they might get a bit aggressive with it depending on how many fit model categories they get in, because they're going to have to squeeze that into the already tight time schedule, right?
Yep.
And then, but what they do now in Australia is you come out and you do your comparisons first and then you do your eye walk. So they kind of don't really pay too much attention now to the timing. Like you still can't take forever. But because it's not the first time the judges are seeing you, like they're not really even looking then because they've already made their decision. Do you know what I mean?
Pretty much. And you're with 5 people, there's no call outs. And with 5 people, they don't, when they make you come out in the US, when you come out like by yourself first before the comparisons, it's for so they can determine the call outs. But that's more likely when there's a lot of girls. But figure is like an endangered species.
Yeah. Yeah. And because everyone says they don't want to do it, but the amount of people who are like, oh, I love figure, like, yeah, there's just this weird perception that nobody wants to see women with muscles. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Wings of Strength kind of blew that one out of the water. So whatever.
Yep. Huge demand for that. But, you know, the figure is, you got to be so trained. It's just that the girls have so much size and so much, you know, maturity of the muscles. They're just going to be that much more fit model. Like you said, it's just going to be huge, which is frustrating because, you know, that they're only doing the fit model to just bring the introductory people in because the bikini girls just look kind of out of their league as a new person when it was supposed to not be like that, which is frustrating, you know. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea from an amateur point of view. I just don't understand the pro part, but whatever.
I don't either.
Not my decision.
No, I don't either. Well, you look amazing. I think we buttoned things up. I feel really good about what, you know, things to keep working on for you in particular. Just as a quick recap, being mindful where your hands go, even here on the side poses, anything, just not to be up in the ribs, but to be locked right more on the hip. Yeah, beautiful. Good. And then just shaping.
And then the other. Oh, yes. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and then like shaping the body in the bikini pose, keeping the hips facing the side and working on that mobility. That's number 2. And then in the transitions, just working on that little change in footwork we did on both of them. Yeah. Good. Yeah, that looks good.
The only thing I wanted to check as well is because I was obviously I'll send you that funny photo of where I've superimposed myself against the pros. But it's interesting, right? Because you see glaringly where you're posing, like my arms were out too far away from my body, right? So are my arms sitting better now in my front and my back pose? Are they where they should be? Or do I still need to bring them in?
Best I've ever seen you pose. Your posing now has hit a stride.
Okay.
Yeah, your front and back pose arm positions are great. Your hands, they're not too close, they're not too far, right? They're not too far forward. Like you've got it way the best I've ever seen it. And then the side poses, it's like I said, the last like 3 weeks or so, I'm really seeing you hit a stride with that expansion. And not like leaning forward, right? This was your original. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah. What I've found is I've actually got one foot slightly longer than the other. So I've been lifting up my foot before I kind of turn just to get a little bit more ab engagement and then placing the foot down, and that's helping me get a bit more twist. So
Oh, that's great.
it's working for me
That's
now,
great.
but might need to change it. But yeah, so for example, I'll be, say here, and then if I just lift that foot up, see, I can get more twist,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
I can put it down in the staggered position.
Mm-hmm. You can also, can you have any people that do are professional like shoe repair companies? You can have somebody put a lift in your shoe.
Yeah, so that's one thing I'm thinking of doing as well, because that probably explains why I was like, why, you know, when I'm doing certain exercises, I feel like I'm favoring one leg, and it's probably because I just have that. It's only like a centimeter. It's most people have that, but mine's becoming noticeable now at this level, if that makes sense.
Are you also, if you have lower back pain, that can cause lower back pain too because of the pulling
Well,
down of the muscles.
yeah, because I would notice that my right QL and lower back is more developed than my left. So there's an
There you
overcompensation
go.
happening there because,
Yep.
yeah, so yeah.
The lift will make a huge difference. It'll feel weird at first, and then when you don't have the lift, it'll feel normal. Feel like
Yeah.
without the lift, you'll feel weird. But that could be helpful
Yeah.
too. But in the meantime, brilliant. Lift and turn, plant. Brilliant. Brilliant. Excellent. All right. Amy, I love
Yeah,
our
because
sessions.
you can, me too. Yeah, because like even now, it's just like you. I'm not even flaring yet, but it's already a much better pose, and then I can get that
You're,
extension.
yep, the crown of your head is right over that anchor. You're spinning like this, Amy. You're spinning right around your hips, right around your anchor, like instead of,
Yeah.
right? It's beautiful. Great. Excellent.
Ah, yay! That's so good.
Yay, so good to see
All
you.
right.
Yes. I'll get this
I've got to
recording to
work
you
on that.
whenever it's done uploading. If you have any questions, know where to
Yeah.
find me. Send me that picture. I want to see that little collage.
Yeah, I'm loving this now. That's so.
Yeah.
I have
Yep.
to.
Swivel, swivel. It looks good.
I'll be practicing that
Looks
all
so
the time.
good.
I'm just gonna like walk into a negotiation and practice my power pose and then swivel.
Well, you may end up getting a ton of job offers. Like they may be like, "Oh, we want her. We like her." I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Much love to you, Amy. You rock. I'll see you in class
Thank you.
Wednesday.
Stay
You know where
warm.
to find me in the meantime.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And stay cool. My God, 110 is no joke. Take care. Bye.
Bye.